Let me just say a word about being here in Israel. I'm going to come back to eBay in Israel, but it is my first time, but it's really been a fantastic couple of days. I'm here till the end of the week. And, you know, I live in Silicon Valley, and there's a bit of technology magic in Silicon Valley. It's not always clear how it got to be what it is, but it's probably something around the education system and venture capital and some very talented people that have created this extraordinary innovation hub that serves the world. I see some of the exact same magic happening here in Israel. I think it's something about the education system and the entrepreneurial spirit of the people, and maybe it's even the training in the military, but we are seeing extraordinary companies and extraordinary people here, and for that reason, this is becoming a very, very important place for eBay, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But I'm thrilled you're having an e-commerce conference. This e-commerce thing might work someday. You never know. It really is remarkable what's happened so quickly. And eBay was the first. In some ways, we were a pioneer of Silicon Valley and a pioneer of e-commerce. We're very proud of that. I'll say a couple of words about eBay, but I want to come back to where I think e-commerce is going and what are the most important trends. Before we do that, why don't we show this video, because this is about the beginning of e-commerce and eBay. That's a little bit about our history. I think everybody knows eBay as a brand, but maybe you've forgotten a little bit about the story or where we are, so I'll just bring you a little bit up to speed. We are the biggest global marketplace in terms of inventory. We're obviously a global technology company and a global e-commerce company. In 2016, what others would call sales, what we call GMV, was about 84 billion. This year it'll get a bit closer to 100 billion. We have about 170 million customers, and our net revenue last year was about $9 billion. These are things that came right out of the letter that I write annually to our investors, and it really just talks about our principles. We're 21 years old, and eBay's never been bigger than it is today. It's as big as it has ever been in an incredibly challenging and competitive environment. And while everybody says, well, it's eBay and Amazon, the truth is there are thousands of amazing companies, some of which you saw on stage, that are all participating in the e-commerce revolution. And in some sense, all of them are transforming retail. All of them are competing with us, and many of them are cooperating with us. So in that backdrop, we have to reinvent our company. We are a technology business. We do believe that our strength comes from our technology presence, including our presence here in Israel. We run the company for the long term. One of the things we've learned, and in fact we've seen it from some of our friends in Seattle, is that when you run a technology company, it's very difficult to measure all of your success and all of your failure in 90-day increments. You've got to build a foundation and consumer loyalty that could take years. It could take decades. But when you do that, consumers stick with you and it pays off. And ultimately, we're authentically a purpose-driven company. That video means a lot to our employees. And the reason that it does is we could show you all the cool stuff we're working on, and we could pound our chests and take pride in our financial results, but that doesn't actually drive most of our employees. What drives most of our employees are stories like you saw in that video, which are the millions, literally, of small businesses, tens of thousands of small businesses in Israel, millions around the world, that rely on our platform to make a living. That's our purpose, connected commerce. We're a platform of small and medium-sized businesses. And the stories of a single mom that supports herself on eBay, or a war veteran that supports himself on our platform, is what makes us purpose-driven, and it's really what drives our employees. It's what motivates me every day, building a successful technology company that actually makes the world a better place. We say we empower people. We say we create opportunity through connected commerce. They're real stories. I'm going to spend the afternoon with sellers here in Israel, and I'm going to listen to their stories about how they're able to hire an extra person, or how they were a brick and mortar store that may have gone under, but is now reaching a global buying base. Our sellers in Israel export to 95 different countries. And this is the power of e-commerce. You start with a local market, that may be your neighborhood, and one technology connection later, and you're selling to 95 different countries. And that is the power of e-commerce, and that's why we do think it should be a platform that enables entrepreneurship around the world. Our brand promise, I get the question all the time, what are you going to do about Amazon, and what are you going to do about Alibaba, and what are you going to do about other companies? And usually I don't even mention them, but I just did. So there you go. I just want to be really clear, and if you've seen me speak before, and if you've seen the actions we've taken, you see that we don't say things without meaning them. We don't want to be like anybody else. We're trying to be as distinctive as we can. To me, it's not a strategy to be the world's second best at anything. You redefine your brand, you redefine your purpose, and you become the best at it. That's what we deserve. That's what our investors, employees, and customers deserve. And what that means for us is a brand where everyone can find their version of perfect. eBay's extraordinary advantage is its inventory. There's more and better and more distinctive inventory than in any marketplace in the world. So that becomes our brand promise. Rather than become a utility, rather than become a functional utility, what's remarkable about our business is everyone can find something that is perfect. And perfect might mean something brand new delivered in 3 days, and perfect might mean one in the world. And if there's one in the world, it's probably for sale on eBay at some point. So that becomes our brand promise, and increasingly our product, our brand, and our inventory are looking less like other competitors and not more like them. In fact, I'm thrilled. Yesterday, I was here, but yesterday was a really important day for us because we begun rolling out a new global brand around the world. It started in the US yesterday, and we'll roll through Europe in a few weeks, and it will be here in Israel if you are curious. But I'd like to just show you what we played yesterday, because it does talk a little bit about how eBay is different. So can we play the video? Sound?
It's here. Boom! Should I open it?
We're not Amazon. We're not Alibaba. We're eBay, in case you forgot. Let me just say a word about this. I get various forms of the question, what's next, and how has eBay been successful over 21 years? There's plenty of things maybe we could have done differently, but at the end of the day, there's so few companies that were started out of the internet that have now reached our scale. You can really count them on one hand. So why? What is it that we did? I mean, it's a lot of things, but ultimately I talk about our success in seeing really important big technology computing platform shifts and adapting them first for commerce. eBay saw the internet and understood that that could transcend the physical space for commerce. eBay saw the mobile phone and said, you know what, this thing should be a shopping tool. And we were first and now still the most successful company in mobile commerce. And now one of my big high-level observations is that we're on the cusp of some very profound next-level platform changes. And in fact, this is why I'm in Israel today. These next changes are going to transform the lives of billions of people around the planet, and commerce is only one thing that's going to change. But those platforms, to me, are AI. They are the Internet of Everywhere, the Internet of Things, whatever you want to call it, and VR and AR. And what I will say is now the smartphone and everything that it's done seems so intuitive. But if you were around in 2007 when Steve Jobs stood on stage and held this thing up, you weren't sure. You weren't quite sure what it was going to do. Was it a toy? Were you going to use it? You know, it was a little hazy. It looked interesting, but surely it wasn't going to change everybody's life on the planet, right? And then fast forward a few years later, and of course that's exactly what's happened. It's the same here. This is a little early, but not too early. AI is not, it may be the hot topic and the hot buzzword of the moment. It's also real, and it's also really important. AI has been around for 30 years, so it's not an overnight success. But the ability of machines and computers to derive insight from data, the ability of machines and computers to recognize and create insight out of images is breaking out now at a level that we've never seen. If you're a marketplace that sits on the kind of data that we do, this is extraordinarily important. It's extraordinarily important to build an eBay that is personal. Early first step, as an example, is everywhere in the world in the last 3 weeks, we've rolled out a new homepage. And if you have any history with eBay, your homepage will be different than your homepage will be different than mine. In fact, there are about 100 million versions, as far as we can tell right now, of this homepage that machines are optimizing for personal use for our customers. That's the beginning stage of what AI means to a digital marketplace. The Internet of Everywhere means, I think we're moving away from an internet that you go to an internet that comes to you. It'll be screens in your car. There'll be screens all around you. And you won't spend your time on someone's app. You may spend your time in social, in a messaging application. And it's important for applications, whether they're companies or products, to be out where people are spending their time and not try to drag them back to your home place. This is the distributed internet, and what follows the distributed internet is distributed commerce. And finally, AR and VR, not just a gaming toy, very, very interesting applications that are going to really change medical applications. They're going to change the way you process information, and they're going to change commerce. They're going to change e-commerce. I'll give you one very simple example. We own in the United States the leading ticket e-commerce vertical. It's called StubHub. And StubHub built a VR application where, you know, tickets are expensive. And we thought it might be an interesting experiment to allow you to virtually walk into a stadium and pick your seat and sit in the seat and look around so to see if that's the view that you want before you buy tickets. And we thought, I don't know if anybody's going to use it. It's a little bit early. We roll that out, and in the venues where that's available, now 1 out of every 5 tickets we sell uses that VR application. Because if you're going to drop $1,000 on a pair of tickets, people want to see what they're buying. So it's the opening shot in the war. This is going to be very, very important to commerce. Let me just close by why I'm here again. Unlike many multinational companies have development outposts, I think what's unique for us here, and the reason I'm so delighted to be here, is that what my team is doing in Netanya is core development for the entire world. They're not doing research or experiments on the edge. We're counting on my Israel team to help build the eBay that I just mentioned for the future. They are doing core work on our platform, on our data. They're leading in AI, and they're leading in computer vision. And we've done that through organically hiring. We've done that through 2 acquisitions that we've done in the last year or so. And the talent we're getting is extraordinary. And we're very proud to be here, and this is really, really important. We're on our way to 400 employees right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were double that here in Israel in a few years. So, you know, this is becoming a very, very important center, not just for eBay, but for data, for cryptology, for security, and that's why we're here, and the work that's being done is fantastic, and we're counting, our entire company and our entire community is counting on the work done here in Israel. So I'm going to stop there. A lot more to say, but I understand I'm going to stay, and I'm going to take some questions from the audience, which I'm very happy to do. So thank you very much. Good morning.
In your mind, are we heading toward the world of decentralized trade, or are we going to witness a game of giants, really?
I suspect that you're going to have both. I don't think, I mean, look, the giants aren't going away. We don't plan on going away, sorry.
Good.
But that doesn't mean that companies like the company that I just saw from the young woman, Briola, those companies can thrive in this world. I mean, remember, global commerce is $17 trillion. E-commerce is 11% of that. There is such an enormous opportunity and so much runway that just like in the physical world, there wasn't one store that everybody went to, so too in the digital world, there isn't going to be one store. You know, people ask me, Amazon is doing this and that. I don't think they're going to be the last company left on earth. Probably not. And we're trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. So there will be big companies, but it is also an environment where I think lots of small companies can flourish and thrive, for sure.
The second question, Vicky?
Hi. What is your take about Facebook hesitant interest into e-commerce?
I don't know what Facebook wants to do. I honestly don't. Look, commerce, I think Facebook's trying to connect people, and they do a very good job at it. And I think that they're enabling a light touch marketplace because that's one way that people connect. But I'm not sure what their aspiration is full commerce. Commerce is really hard. I don't think people understand that. They think, wow, I could just get some inventory, put it on a web page, and somebody's going to buy it. Until you talk about payment, shipping, trust, returns, losses, speed, product experience, commerce is really hard. There's actually a reason only 3 companies have gotten to mass scale in commerce. It's really hard. So can Facebook do it? Facebook has enormous resources. They can do whatever they want. Do I think their intention is to be a direct competitor in commerce? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Thank you very much. I thought there were 3.